welcome to Analyst Hangout. I am Perpetua Fasomi Peter. Well, I am not alone today. It's a full house, well, virtually mostly. Right here with me, I have Ambrose Omodion, the Chief Research Officer, Invest Data Consulting. Good to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure having you around.
You're welcome.
And virtually we have with us Alhaji Korufi Garuba, the MD APT Securities and Funds Limited. Hello, Alhaji. Good to have you on board.
Yes, I'm happy to be with you.
And congratulations to APT Securities for making the top 10 best stockbrokers for the year.
That's nice.
All right, and we also have with us Olumuyiwa Adeyemi, the MD Atlas Portfolios Limited. Olumuyiwa, hello, good morning to you. All right, we also have Jari Ogbetunde Shegun, Independent Stock Market Analyst with TradeLines.biz. I'm glad to have you join us today.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right.
Alaji, I want to say congratulations too. That's a beautiful one.
Yes,
Thank you.
All right. And we also have Aruna Kebirajimo, the Managing Director and CEO, Global View Capital Limited. Good to have you join us, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at the insurance company, at least from what we have, at 9.98% decline. Insurance leads banking index as the worst performing sectors on NGX. Now, that's a very, very big one. Let's see, what's your thought on that?
Actually, despite the calculation exercise in the sector, I'm surprised and seeing that, for the first half of the year, the sector led the worst performance for the period. Also, we expect that the numbers are also emanated from most of the companies on the exchange that are in the insurance sector. Most of them are impressive, but didn't reflect on the numbers. But if you go back and look at the structure of the market, you can see that the high cap stocks that are not in this sector, the one that really brought the market to that bullish position at the end of the first half of the year. But the good news is that investors should not just look at what has happened in the first quarter. If you're thinking of the future, which is the second half of the year, we have already, we have crossed into. Look at which sectors that are, that are leaders in that sectors, and also the companies that need that sector to be in that position, are they declining now? Do they have the potential to rebound? I think for now, let's think less of that penny stock, because most penny stocks, you don't expect institutional investors like PFAs to be buying into insurance companies, because they will be the one that put the price up, and also because the prices are low, and also most of them, their share issue also cannot take that volume. For me, investors should just target those high cap stocks at the same time, those blue chip companies that has fundamental, that have suffered losses, just in just a market correction in the month of June, that has potential to rally them, especially as we're looking forward to see the the half year results for many quoted companies. I think that should be invest now. Insurance, yes, we know that's one of the subsectors in the market. Yes, there's some good stock there for those that are thinking long, but I believe that most PFAs or high net worth investors don't play more in that space.
All right. Well, the Nigerian Exchange Limited Insurance Index depreciated by 9.98% to emerge as the worst performing indices, in the first half year 2022, while the NGX banking index with 2.04% decline emerged as the second worst performing sector on the NGX trading floor. While conversely, the NGX oil and gas index gained 58.06% to outshine other indices during the period under review. Well, Alhaji, this is for you now. To what does the insurance sector owe this type of result? Even though we've heard what Ambrose has said, I would like to hear your thought also.
Well, we are not surprised for the falling down of the index of the insurance, because currently now, the market, if you look at the major player, is the domestic market, control more than 80% of the entire transaction. Out of that 80% of the transaction controlled by the domestic market, over 80% of that transaction is done by the institutional investors. So that we are dealing with the people that understand the market and know the fundamental of the market, which the insurance did not qualify for that. Most of the insurance lack the fundamentals, and they are just ordinary penny stock. You don't expect the institutional investors to go into the penny stock.
Exactly.
One, they lack the fundamental. Two, they are not the stock that you can talk to. Because if you put 100 million naira for any insurance company, you can take more than 20% of it. And in view of that, so most of the institutional investors are not looking for the ownership. They are not looking for the directorship. They are looking for where they can invest their money and make money. And insurance, they are not there for now.
Okay, so.
All right, thank you so much, sir. That's to a very large extent he agrees with you.
No, that's all right. Analyst,
absolutely. Well, I'd like Jerry Ogbe to comment on this one. Now, some analysts attribute the insurance sector.
All right. If you look at
I have a different question for you, sir. I have a different question for you. Now, some analysts attribute the insurance sector performance to poor disclosure of audited results and accounts and weak on audited first quarter ended March 31, 2022 results and accounts. What are your thoughts?
That's what I'm about to say. That to me, it's a general thing, because if you look at the market, even after the insurance sector, most of them have released their first quarter earnings. If you look before the last MPC meeting, where they adjusted rates, you see that the insurance, they are in the green. They are positive, but what happened affects almost all the sectors. When the rates was adjusted, then we see a heavy crash on almost all the stocks. And of course, you know that already having a low result in the first quarter, and for the fact that people are scared that things may go worse in the sector.
Mr. Jerry
That's why you see more.
Mr. Jerry Ogbe, please, would like you to turn on your camera so we can see you.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Please go ahead while you do that.
Can you do, okay. So if you look at the market before, then you realize that the market has actually been doing well. But when every stocks begin to drop after the adjustment of the rate, the insurance sector got hit more. And of course, most of the losses we saw at the end of the half year were have suffered after the MPC meeting, which is around that May. So to me, I want to support what Ambrose said, that you don't need to get scared about anything, because as you speak, the only thing that is affecting the market they are general. People are looking at the economy, they are looking at the coming election, then the adjusted rates, and some of these things is affecting virtually all the sectors. So to me, insurance sector is still a place to look at.
All right, thank you so much. Mr. Aruna, this particular one is for you. We're looking specifically at AXA Mansard now, because in first quarter 2022, they reported a 3.9% drop in profits before tax to 470.45 million naira. And that's against 2.92 billion that was reported in the first quarter of 2021. Now, let's take a look at ICO. ICO reported 14% drop in profits before tax to 1.35 billion naira. That was Q1 2022 from 1.58 billion that was recorded in Q1 2021. What could be responsible for this result, especially looking at AXA Mansard? What could have happened?
Well, let me start that answer by looking at what we have been discussing, the insurance.
Okay.
Because other Mansard is on insurance.
Yes.
I think where the insurance company got it wrong was during the public offering, where it was an all-common.
Okay.
That they offer bogus shares, and because of that, they have serious shares outstanding, and because of that, they have. Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
Because of that, they have bogus shares outstanding, and they have not been able to make enough earnings. That is why their prices have come as low as they are. And again, they are inability to settle. Settlement to settle their claims.
Okay.
And actually why most of them have been trading at close to, like what we call it, the stock price of 20 kobo.
Yeah.
And there is this attitude that I understand too, that is emanating from the staff of insurance company. Me and you know that this third party, which is called Let Me Go, most of them don't even get to the insurance company. And I also do understand too that even when the company is giving a comprehensive for 5 of their cars, they will only issue one policy and leave the number plate blank. But adventure, anything happen, they will quickly go and fix that number plate on that plane. While they are collecting the what do they call it?
The premium.
the premium on behalf of the company that's not getting into the pocket of the company. The company will pay the claim. But if you look at the result of Axamada, what actually happened was still this claim. Their claim expense grew from 5 billion to 10 billion, which is 107%. And actually what has been dogging this sector is what actually happened to Nigeria Insurance, because they were unable to settle their claim for up to 3 years. So I don't really, for me, if you listen to most of the talks I have like this, I don't need the insurance companies because they have not been able to prove. I have not seen any proof, except for few, like when you talk about NEM, ICO, and except for few, but Assad Mansard Insurance was hit by claim expenses, which grew from 5 billion to 10 billion.
Okay. That's a whole lot, really, a big one, I must say. I hope that they'll be able to probably solve that.
Yeah.
That's a lot, you know.
You know, after the share reconstruction of Mansard and also the shareholding structure of the company and the business scope for that sector and the company itself, I believe that going forward, they should be able to cover their claims. You can see that they're able to pay, like what happened to Nigeria Insurance and all that for almost 3 years, 2 years, they're able to to service their claim, to meet up their claim. But for this company you mentioned, NEM, ICO, and Mansard, I think, and the Consolidated Hallmark Insurance, I think these are, you can see that they are consistent in terms of meeting their claims. And that also, with expected reform in the industry going to the future, let's see how it's going to play out for that sector.
All right. Well, moving on.
Hello, can I come quickly? You see, I do not also support share reconstruction because the question is, you are trading at 3 naira. That means the market value you to be trading at 3 naira, and you want to do share reconstruction of 1 to 3 to raise your price to 9 naira. If you have been able to churn out earnings enough, the market will appraise your stock by itself at 9 naira.
Market forces.
The question is that after the reconstruction, are you able to bring out earnings, generate enough earnings?
All right, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I mean, that's a very good one. I think one of these is we'll probably get to talk about the technicality behind reconstructions and, things like that. Thank you so much. Well, let's move on to the next conversation for today. The Nigerian Exchange Limited has suspended 9 companies from its facilities effective Friday, July 1, 2022, having failed to file their audited financial statements for the year ended 31 December 2021. Well, the companies, according to a statement from the NGX, include African Alliance Insurance PLC, Niger Insurance PLC, Royal Exchange PLC, EcoCorp PLC, C&I Leasing PLC, Mutual Benefits Assurance PLC, Coronation Insurance PLC, Premier Paints PLC, and Dover PLC. However, in a swift reaction, C&I Leasing PLC has attributed the delay in filing its audited financial statements for the year ended 31 December 2021 to multiple regulators. This was contained in a statement from the management of C&I Leasing PLC, after the company, along with 8 others, were suspended from the facilities of the NGX. Well, I'd like to start with you, Ambrose, because you are here with us. What's your reaction to this story and then C&I's excuse?
No, actually, when it comes to listing, they all call post-listing requirements. That means as you are listing on the exchange, there are some requirements, obligation that you should meet on quarterly and yearly basis. One of them is that filing of your returns, or what we call your earnings as at when due. But when a company fails to file up their numbers as at when due, they are bound to take fine. But for me, even the action of the regulators now, for me, is delayed. Some of these companies that have been hammered now have, for almost 2 years, 3 years, 4 quarters have not released the result. But if they are waking up to know that yes, these people has kind of obligation to release result to their investors, because it allows investors to plan and to know exactly when results so they can focus their investment and know when to be in the stock or out of the stock. But when we are not seeing numbers, it becomes a problem. Just like I always tell people that if a child will perform well, we always bring out a report card at the end. But this company, you can see what happened apart from the CNI you mentioned, in Adova. Adova for 2021 did not release their results, even their Q1 2022. But because of the action, of the regulator now, they quickly now release results, and they were lifted up from the suspension yesterday too. But it tells you that means what are you doing with the result? You know, exactly. You are given a space of almost 30 days to release unaudited. You are given about almost 60 days to release audited, or 90 days, depending on when you choose. Then what, you know, if you have done well, let the if not, you have performed poorly, let them know that investor can move their investment, because every investment anywhere in the world is against the future.
All right, I think we'll have to stop it there. Alhaji would like you to comment on this.
Yes, my comment that I respect the exchange for suspending those companies. I believe they could have suspended more, but they choose to suspend this one for the reason best known to themselves. Because
we can barely hear Alhaji, and I guess it's the connection. We're having connection issues. Well, Alhaji was also, well, he totally agrees with Mr. Omojo, who was talking about the fact that this is an action that probably should have been taken before now. But even though it's been taken now, at least one of them has responded by bringing out their results. Alhaji, if you can hear me, please go ahead.
Yes. What I'm saying that I totally support the exchange for taking those actions, but they could do more. Because the truth of the matter today, the market is pulled by the institutional investors who is fully aware of their right, and they analyze those information before they invest in any company. So a company denying us the input have been allowed to continue trading. Yes. However, we have a company that is a big player. Today, you say one of the index that has gone up is the oil index. And we all know that why the oil index goes up, because Onde is trading, and Onde make a substantial gain. Yet, Onde is among the oil that default, because up to now, we are not aware of their first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, up to the last quarter of 2021.
Yes, sir.
Alhaji, more specifically now, let me comment more specifically now. How does this really affect investors, more specifically?
Well, you see, it affects the investors in making decisions. Exactly. If you look at it, most of the major players in the Ondo are just retail investors, not institutional investors. Most institutional investors, they decided to wait and see what are the outcome of the company before they decide to get in or get out of it. But what you see in Ondo trading is just the local investors who cares less in that. If when they release their information, it could have gone. But notwithstanding, the market decided to reward them because what they have witnessed in the other oil sectors. We have seen what Total did. We have seen what other MRS did. We have seen what Ardoba did. So in view of that, there is hope that Ondo will do well.
All right.
And therefore, people decided to allow the price to appreciate despite the fact that they have not released their result. And the exchange should have explained to us why they did not suspend Ondo.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now that's quite instructive. The exchange needs to explain to us why Oando was not suspended. Well, very quickly, let's go on to this particular story about NGX Ghana exchange strengthening ties on cross-border initiatives. Well, the Nigerian Exchange Limited and Ghana Stock Exchange have reiterated commitment to strengthen cross-border trading initiatives with the aim of moving investments, access to capital, and integration of both capital markets in the continent. Well, speaking at closing ceremony organized for delegates from the GSE in Lagos, the Divisional Head Capital Markets, NGX, Mr. Jude Chemeka, said the Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission, Ghana, Reverend Ogbame Tete, and his team visited to understudy what the exchange has done in the process of capital market decentralization, dematerialization, among others. Now, this is the story, right? And I think this is a story that a lot of persons are interested in. I would like you to probably talk to us about this.
Actually, for me, it's a good move to you to open a border to trade across the border, which is good for the market. If you see matured market, you can trade from anywhere, fine. But for me, if we are kind of open cross-border to trade with South Africa, for me, I prefer that more than going to Ghana. I would say Ghana, as we speak now, is still a small market. Yes, if they are coming to understudy us because they see that we have gone ahead of them, we need to look for people that have gone ahead of us. Then fine, that is where I see good move. We need to expand more. But for me, Ghana will not control much to our market because their market is still small. Look at the numbers of shares listed on Ghana's market. There are very few compared to what we've seen in our market. I believe that if we are going to South Africa to do the border trading, we are better, but I believe that with this one, we can still expand to South Africa and other African countries. But for me, it's a welcome development, but we need to do more. All
right, Mr. Jimo, can we have your thoughts on this particular one?
Yeah, I do. I go the way of Ambrose. I think it's actually a good move. If it's looking at Ghana market as very small, I don't believe in that. I believe that whether small or big, we have something to learn from them. I think this visitation was in line with WACMI, that is West African Market Integration Program, where there will be cross-border listing, cross-border trades. And I believe it will create an avenue for arbitrage. Okay. That for the fact that you have, if a stock that is listed on both Nigeria and Ghana exchange, I discovered that there's every possibility of making more profit when you go to Ghana. You can send your order from here, and it will be on your behalf, and you may gain. I think it's a good one. Yes, it's talking about South Africa. I believe. In the days that may come, there will be an integration of maybe all the capital markets.
That's good. that was very nice.
And there will be movement of funds from one market to another. Yeah. Arbitrage also actually.
All right, I think we'll take it up from there. Well, Mr. Jari, let's have your thoughts on that before we move on to the next segment. All right, I guess we're probably having connection.
Things that we need to consider, of course, we need to consider the translational rate, but because as we speak, I want to believe that 1.79 cedis is an equivalent of 100 naira in Nigeria. We need to call. There was a time I was trying to do some research work, and I needed information from the Ghana Stock Exchange. It took me a whole lot of time and stress to get the price that we easily get on our exchange. Beyond all this dematerialization and decentralization, I think the exchange also need to look at the availability of information. Will we also be getting prices, earnings, and all these things the way we easily get it here in Nigeria? Because all these things are very important. We trade news in the capital market, and if the news is not readily available, there will be difficulties in doing transactions with other countries. So all these things need to be established before the process kicks off.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Jaragbe, for your thoughts. And finally, Alhaji, let's have your thoughts before we move on to the next segment of the show.
I just want to call the attention of my colleagues that Ghana Exchange is our baby. We set it. Yes. They all learn from the Nigerian Exchange, and you have to let your baby grow. Okay. Don't forget that today, if you go to the Ghana, you see that most of their branches that are running at the Access Bank, the GT Bank, the Dennis Bank. So there is a need for also the same company that are doing well in Nigeria may decide to list there in the Ghana Exchange. And that will give the room for arbitrage, just like what we witnessed in the ETI, the Eco Bank. So I want this exchange, not only Ghana, to go to Cote d'Ivoire, because Cote d'Ivoire controls the entire 9 African French-speaking country. And therefore, if Nigeria extend their hand there, we remain the hope of the financial institution of the entire West Africa and Africa in general. We need that, and that's what the London Exchange had an edge over most of the European exchange. I think there is a need to look at it, and remember that the Security and Exchange Commission of Nigeria signed memorandum on the in 2006 with Ghana, and we need to accelerate this to see more trading, more cross-border listing. Remember, MTN listed in Ghana before Nigeria. Why?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, thank you so much for your thoughts. I think this is a good place for us to go on a break. We'll take a break now, and when we return, we'll review select interim dividend-paying companies. Stay with us, don't go anywhere.